report. Mike, how
Hey.
you doing today? So, as you know, this is Michael Randolph. I'm with the Center for Nonprofit and Community Development. And what we do is provide technical assistance to nonprofits in all aspects from beginning to operation. I'm delighted today to introduce one of the groups that I actually work with and help them get their nonprofit started. And they've done some dynamic things. And like you, I don't know what they've done lately. So I want them to come on and tell me what they've done lately. So Mike, please tell us who you are, the name of your nonprofit. In addition to that, what you do as a nonprofit, and where can people send some money to you to help you further your vision. But first, let me tell people how me and Mike did meet. So me and Mike did some business together in which he created a professional presentation related to a grant writing class that I was putting together. And I actually wasn't expecting that level of sophistication. So when I tell you the man is about his business, it ain't what I'm thinking, it's what that man has produced. So Mike, saying that, come on, tell us who you are as an organization, introduce your lovely wife, man, and take it from there.
All right, here we go. I'm Mike Newsom. This is my wife, Alice. And man, I tell you, it is amazing, what we've done since being introduced to Michael Randolph. I had no idea about nonprofits, 501(c)(3)s, just from the outside looking in. But since Mike set up our nonprofit, that's kind of why we wanted to connect with him, just to kind of update him where we are. And this has been just, it's been a little while.
Mike, you haven't introduced your name of your organization.
Blue Rock Media.
Okay, let's continue from there. Go ahead.
Blue Rock Media is a video production company. We train, we teach all aspects of video recording and online presence. And that's from social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all of it. We understand that businesses, especially businesses in our community, need an outreach to a broader community. So what we do at Blue Rock is we give them that platform through social media by doing still commercials, video commercials, any commercial that they, that would help their brand is what we do to push their business.
Excellent. That's awesome, Mike. That's really awesome. So I think and we definitely want to talk because I see some possibilities of some connections between your organization and some things that I'm doing. Because I think that what you bring to the table is the ability to tell a story. See, no matter what you do as a business, if you ain't got something to tell a story, and we call them video, jingles, or whatever the case might be, you ain't doing it. Simple as that. So what Mike brings to the table and the quality of work that he brings to the table is professionalism. As you know, I don't even deal with people unless they feel they bring that level of professionalism. Why is that important? Because, African Americans, we do one thing wrong and we got all kind of pain, okay? So what I try to do is to make sure I bring those organizations that are legit. So we can begin to spend that money in the African American community. I ain't afraid to say it. See, I'll be right up front about it. Because when I talk to my brothers, my Caucasian brothers, my Oriental brothers, and they be saying, Mike, you right on point. Because if you ain't doing it for your own, and if your own ain't coming up, how can you promote somebody else? So I'm all about promoting Black businesses. So Mike, tell me this, because I know at one point you was the head of some organization that dealt with the union.
Right. For Hillsborough County, I served as president of the union for the county. And also I served on the state board for the union.
So you see how you got to get a brother to bring all them skills out? See, I know a lot about him. I just want to bring it out. So you can see this guy right here, right? He's very dynamic guy. Mike, what was your experience from Canada in terms of working with the union? What are your takeaways?
Well, listen, the main thing that prompted me to move up in the union was a desire to want to give back. Um, I hate to put it this way, but some companies have their interest and only their interest in mind. And sometimes they can take advantage of, not respect the rights of their workers. So what the union's responsibility was to make sure that every worker had a fair shot and an equal opportunity, especially workers of color. We've seen here in this county where there were some discrepancies in terms of fairness with workers of color, as well as gender. There were some issues where this county had issues and with the good old boy network, and all the time skill level qualifications did not really play an important factor in your promotions. So we needed a union so that we could level the playing field.
Excellent, man. Excellent. Because that becomes so important. I go back to the fact that we have to have people in right places in order to do right things. So, Mike, I'm really looking forward to bringing you in on a possible deal that we're doing in West Tampa. As you know, there's a lot of community development that's going on throughout the country,
Right.
Especially in West Tampa. And developers come and they create pretty projects, but normally it leads to gentrification. So our position as the West Tampa CDC was to position ourselves with a developer to say, well, if you're going to come in and do that, that needs to be something that you leave back to the community and with the community in order to end and reduce gentrification. So out of that deal came what we call the West Tampa CDC Technology, Wealth Building, and Job Creation Center. It is definitely a new school, next generation approach. And part of that component is what we call the production and video production center. And with your expertise, we definitely want to be having some conversation with you. Because let me tell you why it's important. Let me tell you why we chose that. Although the component has different components from business, etc. But this particular one having to do with radio production and video production is our way of trying to get those people that out there that's doing the killing, to get them in the studio, to put a mic up and create a rap or create whatever you want to do. Create a play, create a poem, create a commercial. We think this is the perfect fit for dealing with public safety. I know this because in the past, when I was working in Baltimore, I worked in neighborhoods where you had gangs and nobody could touch them. But when I talked to them, I said, look, man, we're going to be doing some productions. We're going from neighborhood to neighborhood because rap had just started back then, right? And I said, y'all can, go in front of the audience, man. People going to like you and love on you. Man, these hard heads, they say, forget crime. We'll do that. So I know it works as a mechanism of getting the hardest of the hardest off the street. So that component is something that's very dear to me because as you know, Mike, we have so many young people that are on the corner. And most times the solution is to put them in prison because they don't know how to reach them. Well, Mike, we found a way to do that with that technology center and all the different components about that. And I definitely want to put you in that because as we begin to go for grants, we can pay you to come in to do A per head. So there's a fee for service. So we believe this, everybody get paid. See, everybody that's at the table get paid. And that's why roots do gravitate towards us in that particular respect. So having said that, Mike, what project are you about? What project are you working on? Do you want to hold it to AFRICAM or do you want to talk about it here?
I'm excited about the project we're working on now, and I do want to go into more detail with it off the record with you.
That's smart, Mike. That's smart. All right, but I did want to bring you to the table, Mike. See the world, he's a smart man, right? Very creative. I just wanted to bring out and bring you to introduce you to the world. Because your nonprofit started way back again. And I want to emphasize that nonprofits can grow, but you grow only depends upon the work you put in it. It's called sweat equity. You got to put in the hours and the time. Mike, go ahead.
You're right on point with what you're saying, because we've seen our nonprofit that you really birthed for us, take us from working here to expanding our gifts and talents and our nonprofit.
Wow.
All the way back to Africa.
Wow. And guess what, Mike? I'm even connected now doing things in Africa, and I'm doing things in Latin America.
Excellent.
So yeah,
Excellent.
we are Mike, we're this global type of folks, right? We see the world, we don't see boundaries like the United States. Our vision is global. So that's why I know we clicked so well. But hold up, madam, you didn't say anything. Talk about what your role is in the process. What do you do? What's your role?
My role in the process is basically editing. I do a lot of video editing.
That's big time. You make sure it don't look stupid when it go out there, right? So you got the most important role, right?
It's one of the important roles. So yes,
okay, go ahead.
I hold down the editing. Well, both of us are editors.
Okay.
Michael does cameras and I do the editing, okay. and we have teaching, and I do the teaching as well. So that's what we're doing.
Good. So what's the point? Why do you do what you do? You probably could be doing a million things. Every nonprofit has a story to tell about what compels them to do what they do.
I just love it. I mean, I just love editing. I love creating. I love adding transitions and making stories, because like you said, you can take an edited product, a production, and you can re-edit that piece and tell an entirely different story. So it's a lot of creativity involved in editing. So I enjoy that piece of it.
So listen up to all the Black businesses out there that's connected with me. You need videos, okay? This particular entity right here, Buy Black, you will always talk about it. But if you need videos, because if you wanna, especially if you're a mom and pop operation, and you need to increase your dollar bill, you better increase your social presence professionally. So these people can create the contents necessary to bring you in the dollars. So Mike, you was about to say something, and I'm sorry for cutting you off. What were you about to say?
I just wanted to kind of piggyback on what Alice was saying, and that is that the core of Blue Rock Media is training. The business is really birthed on teaching people how to do what we have grown into, so that they can become self-sufficient, so that they can learn and understand how to promote themselves on social media.
And you know something, Mike? We're all the way almost near the end of the interview. Mike, where are you located? Because it's going nationally. Where are you located?
Well, if you ask me that in a few months, I would be so proud to say we're located in Africa. But right now we're located here, right in the county.
Okay.
So we.
So you're actually going to be moving to Africa, Mike?
Well, we've got some opportunities through Blue Rock Media, and we're considering some different things.
Awesome, man. Because if you get in Africa, I'm right behind you. You got to bring me with you.
Well, listen, we're here. Our outreach, and because of technology, we can reach across the planet.
Awesome.
From right here at this table. So
that's the beauty, and that's part of the component, and that's why the first component of our initiative is called the Technology Center, Mike, because you know what technology can change the narrative.
Yes,
it can change the narrative, man. So, and in the African American, man, it is a necessity that they understand technology, because with the technology, it changed the playing field. It changed the playing field. I was in a meeting, Mike, and I got 3 computers, right? So one meeting was New York, another meeting was Chicago, another meeting was Philly. Why? Technology on Zoom meetings, okay? So when I say technology, and I do want to reach out that, especially if you're in African American community, technology levels the playing field. Without a clear level of technology as a group, we will be left back behind, especially if you're in the city and you're in poor community. Anyway,
And we
Mike, I
don't
have to
want to
get
be
that
left
out.
behind.
So any final words, Mike, before we go into our meeting?
Just quickly, I would like to say thank you for everything that you've, done in terms of getting us started. And we know that you've always been there in case we needed to reach out,
For sure.
that you were right there. So
For sure.
I'm just grateful that we've had that opportunity to have met you.
Well, Mike, thank you and your wife for what you do. See, it's people like us that change the world. So thank you, man. Let's go ahead and get into our meeting.